Good morning. So I wanted to talk today about, I have some notes here, about 4 actual methods to get clients. And I know I'm kind of dipping my toes in the waters of maybe conflicting advice, or there's a lot of stuff that you can search or YouTube or what have you. But this comes directly from my experience and what I'm teaching in my Unleash program right now. And the first thing to know is that some of this may be hard if you really are taking a really good look at where you are right now with your coaching business, whether you have started already, whether you have, it's something maybe that you really want to do, or if you're feeling stuck. I do want to just kind of be on that level with you and just kind of let you know that I understand that some of this is hard, especially if we're talking about repeated action, moving forward instead of staying stuck. So I want to tell that to your unconscious and your conscious. And I just kind of want to give you some really basics, but very powerful methods that I've seen work for me. And the first one is to know your story. And on top of that, to know your story and that it's important. If I'm completely honest, this was really hard for me for a long time because I was so outwardly focused on anything really other than myself that it was really hard for me to take a good look at being proud of myself even, or like celebrating myself on the growth and the wins that I had really accomplished in this like personal growth journey. And I think it's really important to take a hard look at knowing your story. And this is why. Is because most of us are here, at least I'm going to speak for me and also, some of my clients as well, the people that I surround myself with, is most of us are here because we have been through an ordeal. Most of us have arrived here today because we have been through some type of ordeal, whether it be, you may not be where you want to be in your growth journey, like you may know that you have work to do, but you also know that you have done some growth up until now. And that's important. Not so important that, you're going to want to be coaching yourself, so to speak, right? But it's important to own that growth that you're doing. And it takes some internal work to do that. And, there's a lot of programs out there, if you're talking about like getting clients and making sales, that focus really, again, on the outside. Like your client avatar, for example, if you've heard of that. Or, figure out all of the demographics about your prospective clients. And the truth is, right now, you may not know. And the only way that we're going to know is that if we keep moving forward, right? And learning, like gathering all that trial by fire and that data. That's what I've had to do. And so it starts with us. It really, really does. Like you wouldn't be here giving your gift, trying to create this coaching business and helping other people if you didn't have knowledge to give. So if this is hard for you, if this is kind of an ethereal concept, then I want you to know that you make sense. Because likely you haven't been directed or perceived as worthy enough to tell your story. Or maybe that you haven't been rewarded for telling your story. Maybe that you haven't been celebrated for little growths. This was something really big for me in my life. And if this tip number 1 is hard for you, I get it. You actually make sense because you haven't been kind of in that mode before. Like we go to school and we're like taught to follow all these rules and all this stuff, and it's not individuated. It's not about us. It's about like other things, achievement, getting straight A's, being quiet, etc. So what I want to propose to you about this number one point is that the old way of doing things would say that you don't matter, but you do. You matter a lot, especially in this business, especially in this business where you're giving your heart and you're giving your soul. So we have to understand that where you came from in the past, it may not celebrate you telling your story in this way, especially when we're talking about really deep things, especially when we're talking about all these other societal pressures. Okay? So I hope that helps. So just consider, if this is hard for you, what happens, what kind of paradigm did you grow up in your school system? Or have you been not accepted for owning your truth? The second point that I want to say about an actual method to get clients is to be consistent. And in respect to putting yourself out there, step number 2 is to be consistent on social media. And here's a hard part too, because I know I'm kind of tiptoeing once again in, conflicting advice territory. Because if you go out there and you are at the point where you're researching about what to do on social media for your business, you're going to find zillions of different tips and tricks and ideas and stuff like that. And what happened with me is I kind of got into this place of paralysis by analysis. Too much stuff was holding me up. And so having one consistent practice to start with, consistent as in every day, it helps you for a couple of reasons. Number one, it starts to train your brain and your body and your nervous system that putting yourself out there, again, knowing your story, is safe. You're not going to die, right? And the only way that behaviors come into consistent action, again, not procrastinating or putting things off or what have you, is when they are fully embodied. And the only way to do that is to gently, with small steps, do something consistently over time. And so consistency can be hard for us. I'm saying us because, I've been there. I'm saying us because likely we have experience, again, our growth and our journey comes from our pain. So likely in our past, we have maybe tried a lot of things and quote unquote failed. And so we feel that fear deep in our body, and that again translates into behaviors that are inconsistent. Specifically, we're talking about posting on social media. And the push through method is bunk. Let me just say that. So, and I'm over that because it really traumatized me for a long time. The push through method is not helpful if we have some pain and trauma that we're holding in our past. And consistency, if you want to get real deep, is really about being consistent with ourselves. So consider, and first of all, if you're not able to be consistent on social media, again, you make sense. You make sense, because what happens is if we notice these traumatic or these loops that start happening, especially with something that we want so badly, like our coaching business, if we see traumatic loops like this, then we realize that there are some unhealed parts of us that need healing. So it's not really you that can't, that it's consistently hard to post on social media or post a podcast every week or what have you, but it's really something inside of you that needs to be healed. So to change something, that we have to understand something, and that is the key. The third point that I want to say with getting clients is know what they're searching for and what they want. Again, shit ton of advice about this on the interwebs. also with that, it's being flexible to change your keywords, perspective, outlook, etc. Flexibility can be very difficult, especially if we live in kind of a black and white world, black and white thinking. And that black and white thinking is actually a great indicator that you may have some deeper healing to do. Because in reality, and I know like the feeling of massively kind of wanting this huge, impact that you're going to have, this massive story that you want to tell, because in reality, like you feel that in your heart. Like you feel that. Like for me, in my growth, I almost died. So I know like the impact that I can have. If we have some things going on inside ourselves still with regards to, again, that black and white thinking, and you'll know this you'll know that you're not emotionally flexible if maybe you get frustrated or aggravated really quickly when something doesn't go your way. Or if like you don't get the result that you want from a certain post or marketing effort. And what that is it's an inflexible nervous system, and it's an inflexible, or there are different maybe brain neural pathways that have been wired to be inflexible, that really only see, again, like danger or joy. When in reality, there's a middle ground. And that's what healing does. And again, like I know that there's so much information about this, about like knowing what your potential clients are searching for and what they want out there. But I think the main point with this is how comfortable are you just trying things out? How comfortable are you being okay to fail? I know that you're probably comfortable helping people. I know that you're comfortable learning a lot of things, which is why you're here watching this. But how flexible or how comfortable are you with trying something for an extended amount of time consistently, potentially not getting the result that you wanted, and then trying again? And if you're stuck in that pattern, then there is something deeper for us to look at. The last thing I want to say is be confident. Be confident where you are right now. Be confident where you are right now. And this has taken a lot of healing for me. A lot. It kind of built on the other things that we've been talking about today too. Unless that you are going to do open heart surgery, you are perfect in helping people right now. I can guarantee you that there are tens of thousands of people behind you, 3 steps behind where you are right now. I guarantee that with a little bit of honing in on your messaging, like we talked about some healing on being consistent, knowing your story, that there are a lot of people that can benefit from where you are right now than where you were, let's say, 6 months ago in the journey that you've been on. If it is still hard in knowing that, if it is still hard to make an offer as in put out a package, ask for people to meet with you, to potentially pay you money for your services. If you don't think or don't know how that you will help them, and that is keeping you stuck, and if you've seen this 2 or more times, then there may be something deeper with regard to not enoughness. And this is really, really important, especially in the Western culture that we've grown up in, which is accumulate degrees, accumulate resume builders, accumulate network, accumulate money. Because what does all that say? It says that you're not enough as you are. And you are. You are. 100,000% you are. So being confident where you are right now is less about, and I'm going to probably ruffle some feathers here, it's less about affirmations and what you say in the mirror and more about embodying confidence. It's more about healing our internal not enoughness. So it's not you really that, if you're stuck in that place of not getting started, or if you're stuck in that place of not getting the right clients, it's less about you, but it's more about healing that part of you that is telling you that it's unsafe to offer something, offer a package, get money with where you are right now. Right now. Right now. You are perfect the way you are right now. And again, unless you're going into like open heart surgery or something like that, there is nothing that will make you more qualified to teach somebody what you know than your experience. I wholeheartedly believe that. And I really hope that helps today, y'all. I'll see you next time.